Hey guys, welcome back. We're working on a 2002 Passat, and we got a problem with the driver's side window regulator. Got that crunchy, what sounds like metal on glass sound when you use it, and then finally it just gave up and didn't make any noise. The window goes up and down on its own. You go down the freeway with it all the way up, and it kind of works its way down, so it's completely toast. So. Got information on where to get parts and how to repair it from a web forum called passatworld.com. Great resource if you guys are owners of Passat vehicles from Volkswagen. So anyway, I heard some talk on there about where to get these parts instead of going to the Volkswagen dealership. There's a guy on eBay that sells them. He's out of Istanbul, Turkey, so this is what you get. Just showed up today, so let me go ahead and pull this package apart and see what all's in there. Be right back. Alright, so basically you get your two window clips that run up and down the rails, new gear for your window motor, a couple of springs, and a whole bunch of cable. The cable is probably, I don't know, something like about 10 foot of cable. It's pretty large. So anyway, that's how it all comes. It's pre-assembled. It's got the little crimp-on stops, and on the end it's got little crimped-on brass fittings there, so nothing slides out. You've got some built-in conduits with some little some beads on them, kind of keep it from going past, and then another stop there. So I'm not all sure what's exactly going on, but I didn't find a video online on how to do this, so I did a video with our O2 bulbs that went out in the vent dashes, or the dashes, the vents in the dash rather. They're like 12 or 14 bucks at Volkswagen, so I replaced those LEDs. I put that up on my my YouTube account too, so if you need to check that out, go for it. But I haven't seen any videos on exactly how to do this. I've seen some picture tutorials, but I figure what the heck, let's make a video and get it out there, see what all is going on, and can document any kind of roadblocks or any modification that needs to happen with this kit. I've seen some modifications happen where folks are getting an Audi replacement set and using it, and they're having to modify these clips on how they mount up. So hopefully this one works out. Again, this is a guy on eBay. They're coming from Istanbul, Turkey. Took exactly 10 days, 10 calendar days, including the weekends, to get here in Washington State from up here in Seattle, from all the way from Istanbul, Turkey. So pretty good as far as that goes, since it came in mail. And the kit looks good. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be what I need, but like I said, we'll get the car in here and we'll tear it apart and get some more video of that. So I'll be right back. Alright, here's the car. I'm going to show you what's happening with the window. Yeah, not good at all. Alright, so the window goes up and down by itself, going down the road, and obviously I can move it without touching a button. So I'm going to get inside to the door panel and point out a couple things and start turning. Alright, here's the inside of the door panel. The first thing you've got to do is pull this inside trim out, and it kind of just pops out, and then the rest of it should pop up just like that. Alright, so now you got that off. Now inside you've got, ooh, the lighting's really bad. Let's see. Alright. So you can see them, there's that kind of goldish color screw right there. Center of the frame. Another one right there. And then there's another one right up there. So there's three of those you gotta remove. And then there's also a couple of screws underneath. Alright, here's a better look at those screws.
Kinda one right there. It's I used a T20. It's a Torx number 20 bit. And you got another one right up here by the bottom light. The little I don't know what that is. Little safety light, step light, whatever. So you got two of them there. So let me get this thing off. Yay for a better light. Be right back. Alright, got the screws out. So in the handle section on the door panel, you'll see those three gold ones I pointed out. That's these right here. They're just a big Phillips number 1. You can use a number 2, works fine. And then the two underneath are these Torx guys. They're what is it, 6-point star? Yeah, something like that. 6-point star. So you're gonna need a T20 to get those off. Now you'll notice that there are two at the tip of my finger, one in there and then one there as well. Phillips screws. You don't need to take those out. Those are part of the door assembly or the door panel assembly. So leave those in. The rest of it's pretty simple. Let's see if I can get this camera in position here. The rest of it you just kind of pop out. Let's see if I can get you a good angle on that. That's it. So the door panel's out. Gotta get the window down. And then it just lifts out of the top. I think that is it for the screws. Yep, that's all the screws. So those 5 and then it just pops out. So you got to disconnect all of your cables and your door latch, your door handle cable right there, and then your electrical, different various connections, and then I'll get this off and then I'll show you what comes up next as far as getting the interior door panel off. There's a metal panel. I'll show you that in the next. Okay, door panel's off. Sarah's leaning up against the wall. So now, unlike lots of cars, you have this metal door panel underneath. And you've got a bunch of gold screwdrivers, or bolts. There's probably 10 of them or so, I'm gonna guess. You got to get all those off, and I don't know about everybody, but mine's got like a seal, some sort of felt seal between this door panel and the main body of the door. So I don't know how that's going to come off, but we'll get to that in a later section. So one thing you're going to need to do is when you're looking at this, you'll see you got this great big rubber grommet, and if you notice on the bottom there's a little tab holding the center insert in, and you got another one just like it under the harness right over here. Now you got to pop these out. I'm thinking I need a little screwdriver or something to well, not sure what you're gonna need. Let's grab a screwdriver real quick. Let's see how one of these things pops out. There you go. Just like that. So in here, if you see I got the window down partially, so I'm going to grab this because you saw how it free moves. So if you look, see that bolt come into view? You need to loosen that bolt, but don't take it all the way out. It's from what I'm told. You need to loosen that one, and then the other one that's behind that grommet there, and that will let the glass come out of the track. Then you're going to need a way to secure it. So I'm just going to use tape. I'll tape the outside of it and wrap it around the door frame to hold it up in place. That should be okay. I'll probably put 2 or 3 strips up there to secure it, make sure it doesn't drop, because if it drops you get a broken window and then it turns into a bigger project. So let me work on getting this door panel and everything apart, and
I run into snags, I'll bring this back up. We'll see you in just a second. Okay, so I read something about having to take the lock assembly loose from the door. I took a cap off here. That evidently removes this little fascia around the keyhole. The piece that doesn't move, this piece here. I'm going to try to do it without taking all that stuff apart. So what I did is so here's your furthest back gasket, and then there's another one right here. So what I did is here is where the cable for the handheld door opener feeds through. I pushed that grommet through the panel, and I did the same thing with the lock mechanism. There's 10 of these screws that hold the panel on. They're 10 millimeter, and the 2 that held the window into the clamps are 10 millimeter as well, so you'll need that. So now I can get the oh, by the way, this gasket around the edge of my panel, it's not adhesive, but it's not even tacky. It's kind of like a rubber, so once it sticks to the metal for a while, it kind of sticks like an adhesive. So I just used a screwdriver and kind of worked around the edge and kind of broke it loose, and the whole thing came loose. There was a couple of plugs that came through here. I popped those out with a mallet, and then there was a peg with barbs on it. I just squeezed the barbs and pushed those in. Okay, so totally doable without taking the lock assembly out. Here's the hard part. So here's my door panel. It's kind of leaning out. And by the way, all of these conduit clips, you're going to kind of have to work the guides that hold the window down, or up and down. They hold the bottom of the glass. You're going to need to get those out of the way. They need to clear this lip in order to slide it. So as you can see, mine was pretty high up and it was a little difficult to get out, but there's the inside. So once you get the top pried out, you got to work on getting these little barbed holders for all of the cable. Get some light over here. So you see I got all the cable lifted up and over the top of the panel now, but they're all held down with these little barbs. So you got to pop those out. You got to actually reach inside this door skin and kind of work each one of them out. So it looks like it's all one piece, and the last bit of it goes to this grommet here, which is the lock assembly, the electric locks. So if you don't have electric locks, you're in luck. But let's see here if I can get some light. If you look, it looks like it's blue, but it's not. Just probably because of the LED shop light that I've got in there. But that cable, it goes through that last grommet. You can't. You're gonna have to reach in there. And what I did is, if you look at the screwdriver, there's a little. It's already halfway hanging off, but right there, there's a little. Here, I'll just push it back on because I got it off once. So, all right. So that snaps onto the lock assembly. Get that light in there. It's gonna be real tough to see, guys. So you confuse your imagination, but right at the bottom of that plug, right in there, there's a little recessed rectangle on the bottom, and I just grabbed it with the corner and pushed down, and the harness pops off. So now, as you can see, I've got that plug off right there, and I should be able to push this grommet back out the door skin, out the front, coming out this way, and get the whole panel clear from the door. So let me see if that works, and I'll go ahead and start up again. Hang on. Okay, door skin off. So that grommet did poke through right here. So the harness came out. Here's your inside. So your replacement kit is going to have all of this cable that's running around. You're going to take these 3 screws off to get at the pulley that comes with your kit. And you got to wire this all back up. But let's see if I can get a close-up. Y'all can see what happened with this one. You can see that the cable completely frayed, and that's all that crunching noise you hear going back and forth. It's not not glass and gravel grinding together. That's what it is right there. So you'll see all this rust. It's all over my fingers now. So that's what's making it fray. So you get like a weak spot right there, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going. And as you can see up by the clip on the front, that's what's up. So that's how it looks. I'm going to pull this apart and see if I can show you how to wire up the new cable. So I gave the cable a little tug, and it's completely snapped right here at the fitting for this bottom conduit. Right? So it looks like what happened is, instead of going on this little curved piece of plastic here, it came out and got wrapped around underneath this rail and just kept fraying right in that corner. Anyway, the 3 screws on the motor are Torx as well. They're a little bigger than the 2 on the bottom of the interior cosmetic door panel, but that Torx 20 works on them, so I took them out with the same bit. They're a little loose, but the bit's a little loose when you're taking them out, but it works without stripping. So that's it. I'm going to take this cover off and see what all's involved, and we'll grab another clip. Yeah, more yummy good stuff. I got the cover off, and you can see it completely just snapped off and got all tangled up in this gear. And so that's where all the crunchy noise is coming from. Fortunately, the kit comes with a new gear, and you're going to need it. So pretty straightforward. Just make sure you pay attention to how your conduits go, and it should be real easy. Just take the old ones off, put the new ones on the same way, and then snap them into the clips. You'll see on the cable, got these little retention barbs. Right, there's a little barb. It's clipped. It's a little bead. It's crimped onto the cable, and when you look at the clamp, you see where it kind of goes. So this clamp rides like this, right? Rides up and down, and on the inside edge, you see that bead snaps right in here where my thumb's at. So the cable just kind of runs through those 2 slots. That's where the bead goes. Same on the other side. They're identical. Okay, new cable attached. Everything's functioning. Kind of dry fitted it. Plugged it in, plugged in the motor, plugged in the switch, and ran it. Rails are going up and down. Important piece to remember. Once you're done running the cable, these plastic clips here, before you put the metal window tray clips into the plastic runners, put the plastic runners on the rails. They kind of go on 90 degrees off and then snap on. And if you have those metal clips in there that hold the glass, you're never going to get them on. So make sure you get the runners on first, and then slide the metal clips and lock them into the runners. Alright, gonna start putting it back together, see how it all works. Alright, so getting the door panel back on. I mentioned earlier the harness that goes to your lock comes through this grommet. These 2 are kind of press fittings, kind of like these barb fittings are. These go to a large plastic, these 2 larger ones, go to a large plastic paddle, as best I can describe it, that are part of the lock assembly over in here. Okay, so when I knock these out with a mallet, they're not going to go back in on their own. So what I did is, when I reattached the harness back piece, because it barbs through from the inside out, where all the rest of these on the wire harness all go from this way in. Okay, so what I did is I took this grommet out, just pulled on it, it comes out, and you can reach up in there and pull those 2 big studs back in into these 2 holes in the door panel to keep them so that you don't want them to rattle in there if they don't fit right. So what I used, because your fingers aren't going to have enough strength in them, and you're going to cut the hell out of your finger if you get in here, because this is just a rough machine stamp hole where this grommet goes in. So what I use is, I've got these, they're basically needle nose that have about a 75 degree, 80 degree bend in them. They came like that, and so what I did is I just kind of put it in there, and as best I could from behind that paddle, you see, kind of pried and popped them you can see the metal flex. See that? So that pushed them. You see that metal flexing? So that pushed them right back through. So that's what I did for that trick, and I've got one bolt holding the panel on and one bolt over here while I'm getting everything kind of dry fit. So I'll get the harness all back in place, and then next thing I'll need to do is plug it in. I've still got massive amounts of tape, as you can see, holding the glass up because you don't want that dropping. So that did well, and I'll probably use some solvent to get it off of the outside. And I'll get it all back together, and then I'll want to raise the window so I can get access to the two bolts, the one that holds the glass here and the one that holds the glass here. So once I get those in position, I'll drop the glass down into it, cut the tape, and you know, tighten those bolts, and then we'll get the finished assembly up, and we'll give a test drive on film. Thanks. Okay, got the door panel back on. Everything's in shape. Still got the armrest and all the screws to put in. So remember, 1, 2, 3 screws up here, 2 along the bottom. All the harnesses are hooked back up. So once this is done, we will give the window. I've tightened the window into place, so I did a kind of a dry fit. I didn't attach the panel, but we did a quick test run, make sure the window was working, so that's good. Okay, all done. Get in here and give that a shot. All right. So, successful install, as y'all can see. Anyway, if you have any questions, shoot me a PM on YouTube or comment on the video. Either way, I think I got pretty much everything covered. Really nice that I didn't have to remove that lock assembly. I wasn't looking forward to doing that, and it's not your standard Torx or Phillips or slotted bit. It's a, I don't remember what they're called, but it's a whole different bit, and you're gonna have to go find it at a specialty shop. I don't know if they're gonna carry it to auto parts stores in your area, or if you're gonna have to get it from some tool company. But it's not your run-of-the-mill Home Depot type of tool. So it's like a 10 or a 16 point, similar to a Torx, but instead of 6, it's like something like 12 or something like that. And it's got a coned, the tip will be coned kind of outward. So anyway, funky tool, funky screws, and if you just push that grommet through it and use that screwdriver like I showed in one earlier piece of this video, you'll be able to get that out and not worry about messing around with that lock assembly. Anyway, hope that helped. Again, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to give you a hand with it. Take care.